Picture yourself standing at the edge of a storm where every gust of wind feels like it's tearing you apart. But what if those winds weren't here to destroy you? What if they were sculpting you into someone stronger, someone meant to rise above? Today, we'll uncover a truth that will shift how you see every challenge you've faced. Not as burdens, but as stepping stones to your true power. Let's dive into a story that will awaken the strength you didn't know you had. You felt it, haven't you? That moment when life seems to throw you into a maze with no exit. Maybe it was a relationship that drained you, a job that dimmed your spark, or a betrayal that left you questioning your worth. These moments don't come by chance. They're not random punches from a cruel universe. They're the starting line of a journey you didn't know you were destined to take. Think about the hardest day of your life, the one that left you breathless, wondering if you'd ever stand tall again. That day wasn't the end. It was the beginning. It was life's way of saying, you're stronger than you think. You might not see it yet, but every struggle you faced has been carving a path to a version of you that's unbreakable. The pain wasn't meant to bury you. It was meant to unearth the courage buried deep inside. You're not here by accident. You're here because you have a purpose, a light that shines even when the world feels dark. Let's rewind to a time when you felt whole, when your heart was open, and your dreams felt within reach. Maybe it was childhood, laughing without a care, or a moment when you believed anything was possible. But somewhere along the way, life taught you to shrink. You started building walls, not to keep others out, but to protect the parts of you that felt too fragile. You gave more than you had, said yes when you meant no, and silenced your voice to keep the peace. Those choices weren't weaknesses. They were acts of love, of hope, of trying to fit into a world that didn't always see you. But every time you dimmed your light, a piece of you whispered, "This isn't who I am." That whisper is still there, isn't it? It's the part of you that refuses to give up, that knows you were made for more. The struggles you faced, those heart aches, those sleepless nights, weren't punishments. They were wake-up calls, urging you to reclaim the person you were always meant to be. Now, think about the people who've crossed your path. Some lifted you up, but others, they left scars. Maybe it was someone who made you feel small, who took your kindness and twisted it, who made you doubt your worth. These encounters weren't random. They were mirrors, reflecting the parts of you that needed healing. When someone hurts you, it's easy to think it's about them, their cruelty, their selfishness. But what if it's also about you? Not because you did something wrong, but because you were ready to grow. Those painful moments exposed the cracks in your foundation, the fears you buried, the boundaries you never set. They showed you where you've been settling for less than you deserve. It hurts to face that truth, but it's also freeing, because once you see it, you can choose differently. You can decide to stop giving your power away and start building a life that honors who you are. Pain has a way of feeling personal, like the universe singled you out for suffering. But what if pain is just a teacher in disguise? Every tear you've shed, every night you've spent wondering, why me? Those weren't wasted moments. They were lessons, each one pointing you toward a truth you needed to learn. Maybe it was learning to say no without guilt. Maybe it was realizing your worth doesn't depend on someone else's approval. Or maybe it was discovering that you can stand tall even when the ground feels shaky. These lessons don't come easy, and they don't come cheap. They demand that you face your fears, that you sit with discomfort, that you choose yourself even when it feels selfish. But every step you take through the pain brings you closer to a version of you that's fearless, that knows its value, that refuses to settle for anything less than it deserves. Let's talk about the moment you hit rock bottom. You know the one, when the weight of everything felt too heavy to carry. It might have been a breakup, a betrayal, or a loss that left you hollow. In that moment, it felt like the end. But looking back, can you see it? That was the moment you began to rise. Rock bottom isn't just a place of despair. It's a foundation for rebuilding. It's where you realize that the only way out is through, and the only way through is by choosing yourself. You didn't break, you broke open. You started to see the lies you'd told yourself. That you're not enough, that you need to please everyone, that love means sacrificing your soul. Those lies crumbled, and in their place, you found a spark of truth: you are enough. That spark is the beginning of everything. It's the moment you start rewriting your story, not as a victim, but as a warrior. Rebuilding doesn't mean going back to who you were. It means becoming someone new, someone who knows their worth and isn't afraid to claim it. It's not about erasing the past, it's about learning from it. Every scar you carry is proof of your strength, a reminder that you survived what tried to break you. But survival isn't the goal, thriving is. So you start small. You set a boundary, maybe just one, and it feels like a revolution. You say no to something that doesn't serve you, and it feels like freedom. You speak your truth, even if your voice shakes, and it feels like power. These small acts are the bricks of your new foundation. They're not flashy, but they're real. And with every step, you're not just rebuilding yourself, you're rediscovering who you've always been, deep down, beneath the doubts and the fears. There's a moment when you realize the pain wasn't just about you. It's bigger than that. It's about the patterns you've carried, maybe for generations. The way your parents loved, the way they fought, the way they hid their pain, it shaped you. But you're not doomed to repeat it. You have the power to break the cycle, to say, this stops with me. That's not just courage, it's a legacy. When you choose to heal, you're not just healing yourself, you're clearing the path for those who come after you. Your children, your friends, your community, they'll feel the ripple of your strength. It's not easy to be the one who breaks the chain. It's heavy, it's unfair, but it's also sacred. You were chosen for this, not because you're weak, but because you're capable of carrying the weight and turning it into something beautiful. Healing isn't a straight line. Some days you feel unstoppable, like you've finally cracked the code to your own heart. Other days, the old doubts creep in, whispering that you'll never be enough. That's okay. Healing isn't about perfection, it's about progress. It's about showing up for yourself, even when it's hard. It's about recognizing those old patterns, people-pleasing, overgiving, shrinking to fit, and choosing differently. Even if it's just one small choice at a time. Maybe it's taking a moment to breathe before saying yes. Maybe it's walking away from a conversation that feels toxic. These choices add up. They build a new you, not from the ashes of the old, but from the fire of your own resilience. You're not just surviving anymore. You're learning to live fully and unapologetically. There's a quiet power in choosing yourself. It's not loud or boastful. It's steady, like a river carving through stone. When you choose yourself, you stop waiting for someone else to validate you. You stop chasing approval, stop begging for love that's conditional. You realize that the love you've been seeking starts within. It's in the way you talk to yourself when no one's listening. It's in the boundaries you set, not to push people away, but to protect your peace. It's in the dreams you dare to chase, even when they scare you. This power isn't about being selfish, it's about being whole. Because when you're whole, you show up differently. You attract people who see your worth, who meet you where you are, who don't ask you to shrink to make them comfortable. That's the shift you've been waiting for. Let's talk about forgiveness, not for them, but for you. Holding on to anger, regret, or shame is like carrying a weight that slows you down. Forgiveness doesn't mean excusing what happened or pretending it didn't hurt. It means letting go of the hold it has on you. It's saying, I deserve to be free. Maybe you need to forgive yourself for staying too long, for ignoring your intuition, for giving more than you had. That's not weakness, that's being human. And when you forgive, you're not erasing the past, you're reclaiming your future. You're choosing to let love, not pain, define you. This doesn't happen overnight. It's a process, one tear one moment of grace at a time. But every step toward forgiveness is a step toward freedom, toward a life where you're no longer tethered to what hurt you. You're starting to see it now, aren't you? The way the pieces of your life are coming together, not to trap you, but to guide you. Every challenge, every tear, every moment you thought you couldn't survive, it was all leading you here. To this moment, where you're beginning to understand your own strength. You're not just a survivor, you're a creator. You're crafting a life that reflects your heart, your values, your truth. It's not about being perfect or having all the answers. It's about trusting yourself enough to take the next step, even when it's scary. Because here's the secret: the strength you need is already inside you. It's been there all along, waiting for you to claim it. Every time you choose courage over fear, you're tapping into that power, building a life that's yours. Think about the people you admire, the ones who seem to radiate strength, who walk through life with a quiet confidence. They weren't born that way. They were shaped just like you, by moments of doubt, pain, and triumph. What sets them apart is their choice to keep going, to see every setback as a setup for something greater. You have that same choice. Every day, you get to decide, will I let this moment define me, or will I use it to grow? The answer lies in the small, brave choices you make. Saying no to what drains you. Saying yes to what lights you up. Listening to that inner voice that knows what you need, even when the world is loud. These choices aren't just steps. They're leaps toward a life where you're not just surviving, but shining. There's a moment when you realize you're not alone in this. The struggles you've faced, the doubts you've carried, they're part of the human story. Everyone has their battles, their moments of feeling lost. But what connects us is the courage to keep going. You're not the only one who's felt broken, who's wondered if they're enough. And yet, here you are, still standing, still fighting for yourself. That's not just resilience. That's a gift. It's a reminder that you're part of something bigger, a tapestry of stories woven together by hope and strength. When you choose to heal, you're not just changing your life, you're adding light to the world. You're showing others that it's possible to rise, to rebuild, to become more than your pain. Let's pause and think about what strength really means. It's not about never feeling afraid or never falling down. It's about what you do when you're scared, when you're on your knees. Strength is the quiet voice that says, get up, one more time. It's the choice to love yourself, even when it feels hard. It's the courage to walk away from what no longer serves you, even when it's familiar. You've shown that strength, even if you don't see it yet. Every time you chose to keep going, every time you refused to give up, you are building a foundation of power. That foundation is yours now, unshakable, ready to hold whatever dreams you dare to build. You're not just surviving, you're creating a life that's true to you. Sometimes, the hardest part is believing you deserve better. You've spent so long accepting less love, less respect, less joy, that it feels normal. But it's not. You were made for more. You were made to feel seen, valued, and whole. The moment you start believing that, everything changes. You stop tolerating what dims your light. You start seeking what lifts you up. It's not about being selfish, it's about being honest with yourself. You deserve relationships that honor you, work that fulfills you, and a life that feels like yours. That belief is the key to unlocking your power. It's the moment you stop asking for permission to shine and start claiming it as your right. That's when the world starts to shift around you. Change doesn't happen all at once. It's not a single dramatic moment where everything falls into place. It's a series of choices, each one a step toward the life you want. Maybe it's choosing to rest instead of pushing yourself to exhaustion. Maybe it's speaking up when you'd rather stay quiet. These moments might feel small, but they're monumental. They're the building blocks of a new you. And with each choice, you're rewriting the story of who you are. You're not the person who settled, who shrank, who let pain define them. You're the person who chose to rise, who decided their worth, who built a life from courage and love. That's the story you're writing now, one brave choice at a time. There's beauty in the mess of healing. It's not neat or predictable. It's tears one day and laughter the next. It's feeling strong and then doubting yourself again. But through it all, you're moving forward. You're learning to trust yourself, to listen to your heart, to honor your needs. That's where the magic happens, not in avoiding the mess, but in embracing it. Because the mess is where you find your truth. It's where you discover what you're made of, what you're capable of. Every time you face the chaos and keep going, you're proving something to yourself. You are stronger than your struggles. You are bigger than your fears. You are the author of your story, and you're writing a masterpiece. Let's talk about love, not the kind you chase, but the kind you build. The love you give yourself sets the standard for everything else. When you love yourself, you stop accepting less than you deserve. You stop begging for scraps of affection or validation. You start creating a life that feels full, not because it's perfect, but because it's yours. This love isn't about arrogance or selfishness. It's about knowing that you are enough, just as you are. It's about treating yourself with the same kindness you so freely give to others. When you build that love, you attract people who see your worth, who meet you with respect, who add to your light instead of dimming it. That's the power of choosing yourself. You've been carrying so much for so long, other people's expectations, your own doubts, the weight of past mistakes. What if you set it down, not forever, but just for a moment? What if you gave yourself permission to rest, to breathe, to just be? That's not giving up, it's giving yourself space to grow. Healing isn't about fixing everything at once. It's about creating room for yourself to exist without judgment. It's about letting go of the need to be perfect and embracing the beauty of being human. When you set down the weight, you make space for joy, for creativity, for the dreams you've pushed aside. You make space for the life you were always meant to live. There's a moment when you realize you're not just healing, you're transforming. You're not patching up old wounds, you're becoming someone new. This new you doesn't shrink to fit someone else's mold. This new you doesn't apologize for taking up space. You're learning to stand tall, to speak your truth, to chase what sets your soul on fire. It's not about forgetting the past, it's about using it to fuel your future. Every lesson, every tear, every moment of courage has brought you here. You're not the person you were before the pain, and that's a good thing. You're stronger, wiser, more you than ever before. This transformation is your gift to yourself, and it's only just beginning. You're starting to see the world differently now. The things that used to scare you, rejection, failure, being alone, don't hold the same power anymore. Not because they've disappeared, but because you've grown. You've learned that your worth isn't tied to what others think of you. You've learned that failure is just a step towards success. You've learned that being alone is better than being with someone who makes you feel small. This shift in perspective is your superpower. It's what lets you walk through life with a new kind of confidence. One that comes from knowing you can handle whatever comes your way. You're not just surviving anymore. You're building a life that feels like home. There's a fire inside you, isn't there? Maybe it's been buried under years of doubt or pain, but it's still there, burning quietly. That fire is your passion, your purpose, your reason for being. It's what drives you to keep going, even when the odds feel stacked against you. Now is the time to fan that flame, to chase the dreams you've put on hold, to speak the truths you've kept silent, to live the life you've always imagined. It won't be easy, and it won't happen overnight. But every step you take toward that fire is a step toward the life you were meant to live. You're not just here to exist. You're here to shine, to create, to inspire. You're not alone in this journey. There are others out there, just like you, fighting their own battles, healing their own wounds, discovering their own strength. You're part of a bigger story, one of resilience and hope. When you choose to rise, you light the way for others. Your courage inspires someone else to take their first step. Your healing gives someone else permission to start their own. This is the power of your story, not just in what you overcome, but in what you share. You're not just changing your life, you're changing the world, one brave choice at a time. You're a beacon, a reminder that no matter how dark the night, the dawn always comes. Let's talk about what's next. You've come so far through pain, through doubt, through moments you thought would break you. But here you are, stronger, wiser, ready for what's ahead. The future isn't just something that happens to you, it's something you create. Every choice you make, every boundary you set, every dream you chase, it's all shaping the life you're building. This is your moment to decide, what do you want your life to look like? Who do you want to be? The answers are inside you, waiting to be claimed. You have the power to write the next chapter, to make it bold, to make it yours. The world is waiting to see what you'll do next. This is it. The moment you step fully into your power, you face the storms, the doubts, the pain, and you've come out stronger. You've learned that your worth isn't tied to anyone else's approval. You've learned that your voice matters, that your dreams are worth chasing, that your heart deserves to be honored. This isn't the end of your story. It's the beginning of a new chapter, one where you choose yourself every day. You're not just a survivor, you're a force, a light, a legacy in the making. Keep going, keep growing, keep shining. If this video resonated with you, give it a like and join our channel for more inspiring stories to fuel your journey.